Okay, Stephanie Gonzalez. Nobody likes being the first person eliminated. So let's start with a positive. What was your absolute favorite moment from your 3 days on Survivor Ghost Island?
So my favorite moment was, I think, honestly, it was like, so I didn't sleep the 3 days, like the 2 nights that I was there at all, like not even for like 10 minutes. And I was freezing because I may have gained a little bit too much weight. And so like the blazer I wore didn't fit, which is why I didn't wear it when we first pulled up on the boats, was because I was a little too chunky to wear it from originally when I sized. It was frozen. I was in the shelter, and it was those moments. I had like frogs landing on me from the palm fronds and like wiping the frogs off. But it was so cool because it was such a surreal feeling. Like, oh my God, like right this moment, like I'm looking at the stars, like in between the palm fronds, and I'm looking at the stars and the moon, and I'm here. I am in freaking Fiji. I am on Survivor. I have 9 strangers next to me that are my tribe mates, and I am part of Malolo. Holy shit, I'm season 36, Ghost Island, Survivor, and then I'm like, oh my God, I hope there's no real ghosts, and then reverse the curse, like this is such a twist. So it was those 2 nights, like I stayed up the whole night just like really soaking everything in, like almost in tears because I was just so freaking excited to be there and so stoked, and like I'm here. Like it's a very surreal moment. So I really love those 2 nights. They were sleepless underneath the palm fronds. I had a ton of frogs on them, and I loved it, every moment of it.
As a super fan, I love the idea of Ghost Island and bringing back these old relics and idols. What about you? When you first heard the twist, what was your reaction?
My first reaction was, this is an epic theme and probably has been in the works for a long time because there's been so many mistakes and idols played wrong and fake idols that were terrible and just so many mistakes and idols taken home. And I was excited, but I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, like, you got to bring your A game on Survivor. Now you got to really bring your A game. Like, you really have to correct what past players' mistakes have done. And that's a lot of pressure. Like, you don't want to be that girl that, like, you ruined. Like, you went home with James' idol. Like, oh, I took myself. Like, what the heck? No. Like, so there's even more pressure. So I was excited, thrilled, like, talking about it, I had like chills on my arms, and it's still such a incredible concept and so well thought out. But it was a lot of pressure. I'm like, this game just got amped up by like 100.
Yeah. Going into Tribal, were you thinking that you might go home, or were you confident Jonathan was the one that was going to be headed home?
No way. I already knew I was going home. I knew it 100%. I'm like, yep, it's me, and I need to figure something out to stir the pot.
Is that what the whispering was about, trying to stir the pot?
Definitely. So because I already knew I was going home, I had to like intervene with their plan. I'm like, this is literally there's gonna be 8 votes against me. I already know it. So I need to like intervene. So I got up, I spoke to Brendan, I spoke to Michael. I realized that they didn't get their lie quite, they didn't orchestrate their lie or like it wasn't a consistent lie. Like Michael told me he was voting for Jenna. We were supposed to vote for Jenna, and then Brendan told me, oh, we were going to vote for Jonathan. And then I realized, I'm like, okay, they can't even get their lies straight. Or so I went to Libby and I was like, hey, Libby. I started with Libby. I was like, okay, Libby, we're voting for, or Brendan is, wanted me to make sure to tell you that we're voting for Jonathan, not for me anymore. And she was like, oh, okay. So I was like, well, there you go. I just confirmed. She's like, okay, not you, Jonathan. I was like, well, we just confirmed it was me, number one. Number two, I potentially have Libby. That's one person that's going to write down Jonathan again. And then I try to talk to Jenna and Stephanie after talking to Michael and Brendan again. And I told Michael, I was like, Michael, I know you're voting for me. Like, think about who's running this show right now. Who's running things right now? And he was like, do you think we should vote for Brendan? And I said no. I was like, no, we need him. He's strong. Like, he's an incredible asset. Like, I don't want to get rid of Brendan. I think, and I hate to say it, I think it needs to be Donovan just to keep our tribe strong. And Michael was like, okay, so should we go, Donovan? And then I went to Stephanie and Jen, and I realized they didn't want to listen to me. They were so like, they were nervous that we were going to switch, that I was switching things up. So they didn't want to listen to me. And as soon as I sat down, Stephanie, Jenna spoke to Libby, and then Libby spoke to Brendan, and then Brendan spoke to Michael, and they switched their vote right back to me. So I was like, well, it doesn't matter how many times I get up and talk to them about switching the vote or try to trick them into thinking we should switch it to Jonathan, especially Libby. No matter how many times I get up and spend time doing that, as soon as I sit down, they're just going to whisper amongst each other and vote me out either way. So, like, whatever. I'm not going to keep wasting time.
One thing that I wasn't too clear on is why they chose you to be the first one. I mean, was it the whole thing at the immunity challenge where Jonathan was yelling about the puzzle and you were kind of, shutting him down? Was that why they chose you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that last part. What did you say?
Was it because of the immunity challenge where Jonathan was trying to yell from the sidelines to help with the puzzle, and then you were kind of shutting him down? And then did he take that moment to turn everything against you, or was there something else why they chose you to go home?
So I never told anybody to like shut up or be quiet or any of like that. What happened at the puzzle segment of our challenge was you have literally, how many was it? 7 people of your tribe. We're literally yelling, all of us and myself. So like, how many people are yelling at the puzzle makers? So it's like we're literally scatterbrained trying to yell at the puzzle makers to help them out. And then I look at the team, and I always look at the big picture, and I'm like, dude, we're all yelling at them to do different things. We need to have like one voice, one person, tell them what pieces to move versus all of us just like, la, 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 la. Like,
yeah.
This is already so much pressure on our puzzle makers because we are falling behind. And now you have X amount of people yelling at you, and they're all saying different things. So it wasn't, hey, shut up, shut up, shut up, shut up. It was, hey, we should all like have like one person speak. I don't care who that person is, but we can all communicate through one person to actually make like progress on the puzzle versus like I said, a dozen voices, it sounds like, coming at you, telling everybody to do something different. That's not helpful. That's not going to get us to win. So it wasn't any kind of like, it's literally chaotic, and you have so much pressure because you're falling behind. You don't want to lose. You don't want to go to tribal council. And the puzzle, you can see it from afar much better than when you're building it. So we could see what they were doing wrong. We're all yelling at them, and it was a mess. Like, let's just have a little bit more uniform and structure to where one person is giving better direction versus 2 people. So that's why I was so frustrated and flustered. Like, dude, we're all yelling at our puzzle makers, and it's unfair. We need to just have one person like delegating, like, or at least helping them with the puzzle instead of all of us just yelling like crazy people.
Hey, if Jacob hadn't been sent to Ghost Island, do you think he would have gone home first instead of you?
I hate to say yeah, but I think so. I don't think he had made the social connections like he would have wanted to. So we did kind of say it was going to be Jacob. I know I hate watching like a group of people having a conversation and one person try to talk and then we just ignore that person. And that happened a couple times with Jacob, and it sunk hard for me because I've been that person where when I was younger, like I would talk within a group, nobody would listen, and I'd just get ignored. And it really sucks. And I know that happened a couple times with Jacob, and I felt terrible for that. But it's so hard to go against an entire, like, for me, like, could I have told those 8 people, like, hey, let's vote for somebody, or 7 people. Hey, let's vote for somebody else. Hey, Jacob, instead of Jacob, let's vote this or vote that. So I think between either Jacob or Jonathan, I really think one or the other would have gone home. I don't think it would have been me at all.
Let's talk about some of your other tribe mates. What was your reaction when you learned Michael was lying about his age and that he was only 18 years old?
I don't know. I feel like it's not a big deal. Like, I mean, I try not to classify people by their age, because there's people that I've met that are 25 years old that live a lifestyle of like 50 plus. And then there's people that are 50 plus that are just very young spirited. So I didn't care about it too much. I mean, at Survivor, you're going to lie about something at some point. I'm sure most people do. So I didn't think it was a huge deal. The guy is gifted. I mean, he looks like he was drawn out of a book or like a sports magazine or something. So, but I didn't care. I was like, oh, whatever. So what? He's 18. He's smart. He's a good guy. He's probably got a good head on his shoulder. He's very LA, or gives off like a very LA look or whatever persona. So I think he's a good guy. I didn't care too much about it.
Of the remaining players, who do you think is playing the smartest game?
The remaining players in my tribe are both tribes?
Yeah, let's just stay with your tribe. So I guess of the 8 people left on your old tribe.
I think the person that was playing the smartest game, probably Stephanie, and maybe Steph and James. I think Steph was just very high energy personality. I think she kind of had the mentality of like, she kind of wanted to play. She was ready to play. So I think Stephanie and James, same thing, such a smart guy and just overall such a cool person. And at our camp, he was just gung-ho to do anything. And so I think they played a pretty cool game. I mean, Michael also played a good game. I know he was making a lot of connections with everybody and just trying to like connect and talk about life and share experiences. And so between the 3 of those, yeah. I'd say Brendan too, but I know Brendan like naturally is a leader, and I think naturally a leader at some point can get burned.
And then final question, who do you hope goes home next? Who do you hope gets voted out and follows?
Ooh. From my tribe, I think that's hard. I don't know. I feel like who should go home next? I mean, Jesus, I don't want Jonathan to go home just because I just love him. I think he's I know it's hypocrite of me to say, because I'm like, well, I wanted him to go home first. But if I had to choose, I'd probably say maybe Jenna. Maybe, I don't know, because I feel like she's got a lot to offer, but I don't know. I don't know. I think probably maybe Jenna.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today. We're sorry you went out first, but it was a pleasure talking to you. It really was.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it, and it was fun to talk.